Jack, one of the health and wellbeing coaches from SASP, and I'm going to take you through a workout to help improve your strength. So we've got a few different exercises today. First of all, we're going to start off with a banded deadlift. A deadlift is working the glutes, so your bottom, and the muscles in the back of your legs, as well as a little bit around the lower spine. So the most important part about the deadlift is the hip hinge. So we really want to think about pushing the hips backwards in this movement. So just without the band for a moment, think about trying to push your hips backwards, keeping that slight bend in the knee and keeping a nice flat spine. So the back stays nice and flat, pushing the hips back. So that's your hinge movement. So when we do this with a band, just pop the band underneath the feet. And I'm going to hold on to the band here, just about mid-calf length, depending on the strength of the band. And then I'm going to come up to a standing position. This is your start position. And then we think about pushing the hips back and coming up to a stand. As you come up to a stand, you pull on the band, so there's some tension there. Push back with the hips, come up to a stand. Little thing to think about is as you come up, push your feet through the floor. And also use your breathing. So we take a big breath in at the top, set yourself, come down, breathe out as we come up. We're aiming for 10 repetitions with this exercise, if you can manage that, but really think about working on your hip hinge for that exercise. So you can do it without the band, just to get that movement to start with. Next, we're going to move on to a little bit of work on the shoulders. We're going to do a seated shoulder press. So you can use some different household items for this exercise. So I've got 2 water bottles here, so you can fill your water bottles up with water or stones, or if you've got some lighter dumbbells, or some tins of beans, that kind of thing. Whatever you've got around will be good for this exercise. So we start in a sitting position, making sure that we're sitting up nice and straight. We're going to bring the weight up to about ear height, palms facing forwards, and then we're going to bring the arms up to the top, controlling that up and down. Keeping sitting nice and upright. And think about use your breathing as well. So big breath in the bottom. Breathing out as you're pushing those weighted objects up. We're going to aim for 10 repetitions on this one, but it really does depend on the weight or object that you're using for this exercise. Then we're going to move on to an exercise which is going to help improve the strength in your chest a little bit and arms and shoulders. We're going to work on some press-ups. So we can do this using a wall, or you can do it on your stairs. So you can maybe go 3 or 4 steps up or a little bit further, so that we're not taking it down too low for this one. And this is an exercise which you can increase the difficulty on as you get a little bit stronger. So I'm going to set myself against this wall. So I've got my feet stepped back. I'm going to come up onto the balls of my feet, and I'm going to put my hands against the wall just about shoulder width, slightly wider, and then I'm going to bring myself in towards the wall and then push myself away. So coming down towards the wall, push myself away. I'm thinking about really squeezing my chest as I push away. I breathe in at the top. Breathe out as I come back out. We're going to keep the body nice and straight as well. So think about head to heel, body of steel. So we don't want to kind of let the pelvis tip forward and cave in. So keep everything nice and tight through the middle. That will help work your core as well and build some strength there. The next exercise we're going to work on is a bent over row. So this is going to be working primarily the back muscles, but because you're in a hinged position, again, it's going to be working the bottom and the legs a little bit too. So similar to the deadlift, we're going to pop the band underneath the feet, but we're going to stay in the hinged position this time. So think about that hip hinge where we push the hips back. Even if you need to kind of karate chop yourself here, push your hips back just to get that position back nice and flat. I'm just going to grab my band So I'm going to row up towards my hips. So here I'm pulling the band back, keeping the elbows tucked nice and tight to the body. Think about putting your hands with the band back towards your pockets. So hands towards the hips, into your pockets. Control this one all the way up and down. Try not to let the band ping back. And again, we're aiming for 10 repetitions on that exercise. Then we're going to move away from the back and come back towards working the legs and the bottom a little bit. We've got squats. So we can do this with a chair, or we can do what we call air squats, where you're just standing and lowering yourself. So this is really thinking about moving the knees. So we're going to think about pushing the bottom back, but really getting that bend in the knee as we come down. Nice and slowly down, and control it on the way back up. Imagine if somebody was trying to take a picture, you have to own every part of that movement, and if they just said stop there, you could hold that position. So really think about every part of the movement as you come up and down, being really controlled. Think also about the knees. So as I come down, I'm thinking about driving my knees outwards. I've got contact with the floor with my big toe, little toe and heel. So I've got strength through my feet and as my knees drive out. You can do this onto a chair. So if you feel that you're not quite comfortable to do that standing up, you don't have that stability, come down to a chair, touch down and then stand back up again. You'll know the kind of chair height which is the best for you to work on. So we're going to aim for 10 repetitions on that one, and that's something which you can build up as you go along. You might also find that this is your range of movement, and as that increases over time, you'll be able to get a little bit lower and lower again. So as you increase this exercise, you should feel that you're able to get a little bit lower on that squat. Great exercise for being able to get out of the chair quite a lot as well, if that's a little bit of a struggle. Okay, we're going to move on to band pull aparts for the next one. So this is a little bit of shoulder strength and mobility. So we're going to hold the band out just at about shoulder width, holding on nice and tight, keeping the wrists nice and flat. So what we don't want here is to tip the hands up like that, keeping the wrists nice and flat. And we're going to aim to just pull the band apart back towards the chest, hold it there for a second, bring it back in. So pulling back towards your chest, you can see from the side, and then back to the front. Try and keep the tension on the band. Come back towards the chest and back in. So nice steady tempo with this one. It's great for building shoulder strength as well as getting that mobility. This is one, again, where you might find you can get that little bit more mobility as you keep practicing the exercise. Again, we're going to aim for 10 repetitions with this one. And you probably will feel that in the shoulders once you've done that one. You may start with 5 repetitions on that one and want to build that up towards 10. Also depending on the strength of the band that you're using for that one. Finally, we're going to work on a little bit of single leg stability. So this is really good for climbing the stairs and that kind of thing, building up that single leg strength. So to use this, you need something which slides across your floor. If you've got a wooden floor, it'll be really easy, or a tile floor, but if you've got a carpeted floor, you'll need something a bit slippy. I've got the lid from a takeaway container, which most people hopefully have at home. I'm going to pop that down. I'm going to place 1 foot onto that. And I'm going to put all the stress through this leg by just sliding my other leg, the leg which is on the lid. So I'm going to come forward and hold that there. So all the weight is in my other leg. So it's all in my left leg at the moment. The right leg is out at the front. I'm going to bring it back to the center. I'm going to take it to the side. And again, all the stress is on this leg here. So really building the strength in this leg. Bring it back in and then out to the back. And then back in. So nice and slowly with this one, taking it forward, bring it back in, out to the side. So I can take this off because all the weight is on this leg here. Okay, bring it back in, out to the back. Again, to the front. I can take that foot off because all the weight is in this leg. Out to the side, back in, out to the back to the centre. So we're aiming for up to 5 on each leg and then just switch sides. So weight on the other leg, so all the weight's going to be on my right leg this time. So I slide forward, I can take that off the lid because all the weight's in this leg here. Bring it back to the middle, out to the side, back into the middle, to the back, bring it into the centre again. If you've got a little tea tray, that works brilliantly, or coasters also, they work quite well on the floor. Oops, this one doesn't want to slide too well. And back in, out to the back, and bring it to the centre. So just a few exercises there to try at home with some household objects that will help to increase your strength.